For years, people have discussed the opioid epidemic we experience here in America. Yet, not many people have educated themselves on the situation at hand. Many people of different cultures and backgrounds have been affected by the opioid crisis through their own personal use or witnessing the horrors through a loved one. Regardless, the apprehensive truth is that hundreds of thousands of people have died from opioid addicted behaviors. According to the CDCP, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, since 2019 alone, over 70% of drug overdoses include some form of opioid. Did you know that there is a plant called iboga that could forever change America's opioid epidemic? I am here to talk to you today about the necessity of using the iboga plant and how extracting the ibogaine and using it can act as an instant relief of addiction by those who are active users. Truthfully, I have never been addicted to any substance. However, I grew up in a household surrounded by drugs and even witnessed many friends addicted to harsh chemicals which resulted in their early and devastating death. Iboga is a plant from which ibogaine is extracted and then used as a treatment for addiction. Ibogaine causes a psychedelic effect that relieves the withdrawal symptoms. Ibogaine has been used for centuries by African tribes to induce spiritual awakening. Multiple countries have conducted studies on the benefits of ibogaine found within the Apocaneaceae family. Even the United States of America. However, ibogaine treatments are labeled illegal here in the USA, even though we are one of the top 5 countries with the highest opium addicted rates, leading to overdoses. In the 1960s, ibogaine was labeled as an instant cure by experts residing in America with a 91% success rate. Ibogaine could be a treatment of a lifetime. The FDA refuses to pay for new studies regarding ibogaine, and some involved in the fight against opioid addiction believe it's because of the treatment centers they helped establish bring in more money than curing the addiction altogether. During the year 2007, American citizens forked up $55.7 billion into opioid-related funding. Narcan shots, drug trafficking charges, halfway housing, prison facilities, methadone clinics, and the costs relating to the death itself if occurred. The drugs aren't just being dispersed by the local drug man on the corner, it's being distributed through the people we trust to keep us safe and healthy, our own doctors. The pharmaceutical industry is one of the biggest opioid influences with minimal regard to regulation or even proper information related to patients. A group of experts conducted an experiment involving 88 opioid addicts and their experience with ibogaine. Statistics had shown that 80% of those who participated claimed that after their ibogaine treatment, their withdrawals were completely eliminated. 69% of them were daily users and expressed that they never touched an opioid again. The experts even listed the emotional rates of those going through the treatments, and the results showed the lowest rate of depressive, anxious, and violent disturbances that are commonly associated with the withdrawal of opioids. Regarding the withdrawals, big pharma industries have started using methadone clinics to help treat the addiction, but they fail to inform those who begin using these clinics that methadone is actually the most addictive of the treatment medications. Methadone is commonly abused due to the similar effects to the drug they're addicted to. Even though there are inferior substitutional medications such as buprenorphine and naltrexone, methadone is the number 1 prescribed and dispensed, while also being the most expensive. Coincidence? These clinics can help people decrease their tolerances or give them some comfort during their withdrawal process by giving them lower doses of different medications, but these clinics get very few successful results. Methods used currently to treat opioid addiction is rarely successful, and a lot of money is being spent on opioid-related products that show little to no positive results. Rethinking the current system being used to fight this opioid epidemic and reevaluating where the money should go can allow room for more extensive testing regarding ibogaine and the benefits received from the treatment. Now, I'm not saying completely obliterating the current programs and treatments and products, but allowing room for other options and giving proper information to allow people the right to choose what treatment they want. Well, testing different methods or just adjusting the system they have set in motion now could save thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of lives. In an article I read, titled A Q&A with Pain Management Experts, there was an unfortunate discovery stating that many American doctors have been prescribing heavy pharmaceutical medications with very minimal investigation of the condition being treated. The article compares Europe and America's handling of the opioid epidemic. It's pretty straightforward regarding the prescription policies, as in they do a proper investigation of the illness or the health complications. And when a doctor is told something may not work anymore, rather than just handing out a random medication, they take the time with the patients to go over options and possibilities for the reasoning of the inactivity of the medications. Refining the system we are currently using can only bring positive information because it's developing knowledge on things we may need to know more about or finding different solutions to the medications at hand. If we put more time into relaying proper information regarding medications and addictions, then we may not have so many addicts that state it all began in their doctor's office. It may even reduce the costs that are being invested currently. If we reevaluate the current system and allow ibogaine treatments, it can even save lives. Ibogaine experiments can create fuller, more meaningful lives and keep the overdoses at a minimal. 60% of those who are addicted to opioids were prescribed, and the addiction becomes so surreal that 40% of those new addicts experience a fatal overdose. Florence said that. After ibogaine is extracted and ingested, usually by tea, it can create a psychedelic effect that lasts roughly about 16 plus hours. It can pretty much feel like a sleep paralysis state or like you're in a sort of trance. If done properly, there have been many reports of a deeper understanding of life and what it means to be alive. Many claim an ibogaine trip can give you some insight to awaken your inner spirituality in a positive way. Even if the other 20% of people from the prior study I mentioned did not have a complete disinterest in the opioid and fell back into bad habits, the other 80% of people with significant success rates can make a tremendous positive impact on the 40% of prescription opioid addicts. Even though not every opioid addict experiences an overdose or death as a result of an OD, there are hundreds that do die as a result of unregulated pain pill disbursement. Ibogaine is just extracted from a plant. When picturing someone experiencing withdrawals, people normally just think of it as being sick. Some of the symptoms that come to mind are vomiting, diarrhea, the shakes, sweats, irritability, crying, physical pain throughout the entire body, your muscles and your joints. When you are in the throes of it, withdrawal of opioids during the ibogaine treatment, you're in a state of sleep paralysis. One of the experts who are actively working to convince the FDA to start investigating and allow options, Miss Beal, actually had said that the effects of ibogaine wear off. You don't go into any type of withdrawal. You come back into a normal state after your ibogaine treatment. Witnessing a loved one go through this moment of illness can be devastating and traumatic. Many people have even gone as far to imprison their loved one against their will and tie them to a bed to refrain them from escaping to get another fix. Ask anyone who has suffered with addiction what the hardest part of getting clean was. 9 times out of 10, they'll say it was the withdrawal process. Imagine a life without the need for restraints to force a person through detox. Psst. Guess what? You don't have to imagine, because we have one that the USA deems illegal. Yes, ibogaine. Ibogaine presents a natural, efficient, and effective treatment for opioid and even stimulant addiction. Some people may be concerned that treating one addiction with another for using ibogaine as a treatment for severe drug addiction due to the psychedelic effects. However, the body actually converts ibogaine into another compound, noribogaine, which specifically targets the nerves and the neurotransmitters in the brain that induce drug-addicted behaviors. Essentially, ibogaine treatments allow the brain to restructure the wires so the addiction ceases. The neurotransmitters release serotonin and other neurotransmitter chemicals and body chemicals to block withdrawal, cravings, and even alleviate depressive episodes. Ibogaine can stop addiction at the source. It doesn't cause further addiction to ibogaine, and with proper treatment can help a person become a better version of themselves. Although there are deeper issues relating to childhood trauma, maybe PTSD or other triggers that seek out a release that causes the addiction, ibogaine can help you get through the first step so you can take the second step. I believe that we need to stand here together and demand that the big pharmaceutical industries and the FDA readjust their financial budgeting to include new clinical testing trials for ibogaine treatments. Demand that those who control the FDA regulations and funding for treatment centers or methadone clinics so that we can better assist those with addiction rather than substituting one drug with another. We need to fight addiction at the root, and it all stems from brain chemicals and emotional traumas that we haven't dealt with or can't deal with. Speaking out and rallying together to sign petitions with our demands present and clear will force the big farm's hands to take the money out of their pockets and put it where it belongs, to the people who are suffering. Just because you're rich or you're poor, you're smart or you're dumb, you're purple, you're white, you're black, whatever, anything in between does not mean you can't fall into addiction. Just because you grew up in a shitty part of town or the nicest house in the state doesn't mean you're safe from addiction. Everyone and anyone can be struck with addiction to the point of no return. Overdoses resulting in death can happen to all of us, regardless of what type of life surrounds us. Finding the right treatment can change everything in a blink of an eye. I can't win this alone, and the drug addicts can't either. If we all stand together for ourselves, our friends, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, and our fathers, for all of the loved ones and others around us, then maybe we'll be able to change the opioid epidemic. Maybe we could drop the statistics 10%, 20%, 30%, hell, 80% lower is a step up from where we are now. Stand with me together. Vote on this. Go sign any petition you can, because we need ibogaine and we need it today.